With a career that has seen 4 decades, Cyndi Lauper is not just known for her singing talents, but also her contributions to songwriting, acting, and humanitarian work. With her iconic music, quirky and eccentric style, Lauper captured the hearts of many with her 11 studio albums, selling over 50 million copies all around the world. In Astoria, New York, on the 22nd of June, 1953, Cynthia Ann Stephanie Lauper was born. She grew up in Brooklyn with her older sister and younger brother. At 5 years old, her parents divorced, and her life became somewhat turbulent. She was raised mostly by her mother, who eventually remarried. Her mother had a love for art and creativity and would often take the children to art museums or the theater. Influenced by artists like the Beatles and Judy Garland, Lauper began writing her own songs at 12 years old on her sister's guitar. As she progressed into her teenage years, she expanded her creativity through her appearance, expressing herself through bright-colored hairstyles and quirky clothing that made her a victim of bullying. Because of this, school was not a place she enjoyed, often being expelled and was classed as an outcast by classmates. It was during this time, however, that she established her identity and began spelling her name as Cyndi with a Y and then an I at the end, as opposed to Cindy with an I and a Y at the end. In her later teen years, she fled from her family home, leaving behind her abusive stepfather. She ended up in Canada and started taking art classes, working several odd jobs to make ends meet. During the 70s, she began performing as a singer in cover bands, but felt constricted with a desire to express herself through her own songs instead. Blue Angel would become her first effort into the music industry with original material, after forming the band with saxophone player John Turry. Lauper's vocals and stage presence attracted the attention of record labels and wanted to sign her as a solo artist. Lauper wanted to continue with the band and turned down opportunities of a solo career. Instead, they eventually signed to Polydor Records and were able to release their first album in 1980. Critically, it received success, but commercially it failed to sell. Discouraged by this, the group disbanded, and Lauper set out on her own, working multiple jobs to earn some money and continued to gig in local clubs. Her luck would change in 1981 when she met her future manager and boyfriend David Wolff as she sang in a bar. She soon signed a deal with Portrait Records. With an impressive vocal range that switches between innocent and sweet to powerful and rocky, her presence is enticing. Her eclectic fashion and taste and array of hair colors also had influence over her music, making her a distinctive icon in pop culture. She could blend multiple genres together, such as new wave, punk, pop, funk, and dance music, creating something unique. This made her stand out in mainstream music, opting for a rebellious attitude, an outspoken approach to life in music, balancing between her underground music and mainstream pop. Her talent as a vocalist and songwriter really explored her artistry. Flamboyant, eccentric, and talented, Lauper released her debut solo album, She's So Unusual, in 1983. Much like her style, the album was an unusual fusion of songs. She co-wrote 4 of her songs, such as Time After Time, while half of the album comprised of covers, creating new arrangements of songs by the like of Prince and The Brains. Lauper put her own stamp on the tracks, such as on Girls Just Wanna Have Fun. She felt the lyrics to the song were too misogynistic, and she rewrote the track with a fresh approach, thus made it her trademark single and a hit that would become an anthem for female empowerment. The album became an instant hit, selling 16 million records across the world and sitting in the Billboard 200 for 65 weeks straight. It wasn't just young teenagers and adults that were captivated by Lauper's unusual persona and style. The critics, too, were impressed. She's So Unusual was nominated for 7 Grammy Awards, winning Best New Artist. The visual look of the album was also awarded with Best Album Package. The music video for Girls Just Wanna Have Fun was recognized, featured regularly on MTV, contributing heavily to the promotion of the album. After an incredible reception from her debut album, Lauper set about creating and recording her next release, True Colors. Released in 1986, the album sold 7 million copies worldwide and peaked at 4 in the Billboard charts. The title track, True Colors, went straight to #1, but the album itself failed to receive the same admirable success of its predecessor, she began aiming her talents in other directions, opting for acting. In 1988, she appeared in Vibes alongside co-star Jeff Goldblum. Sadly, the film was deemed unsuccessful by both critics and viewers. In contribution to the film's soundtrack, she sang Hole in My Heart, All the Way to China, but it never even made the final cut. Despite this, the song still reached number 54 in the US, and Australia saw it take the spot at number 8. In 1989, Lauper released her third album, A Night to Remember. It struggled to make the impact of her first album, but it was still nominated for a Grammy Award as Best Female Rock Vocal Performance for her top 10 hit, I Drove All Night. It was during this time that she ended her relationship with her manager and boyfriend David Wolff and married actor David Thornton. Her next release would be Hatful of Stars, where she had far more influence on the producing and writing process. Lauper addressed important issues throughout the album, such as racism, homophobia, abortion, and domestic abuse. But the album drastically failed, selling only 120,000 copies in the US, compared to the millions she had sold previously. Although the album commercially was unsuccessful, critics praised her artistry. 12 Deadly Sins would be the following album, a collection of her past singles. Over the next decade, she would release a mixture of material, exploring pop standards, dance music, and blues songs. Lauper released an autobiography, Cyndi Lauper, a memoir, in 2012, addressing her experience with depression and child abuse. The following year, she began composing music for the Broadway musical Kinky Boots. The show was a tremendous success, running for 6 years and earning multiple awards. It won Best Musical at the Tony Awards, with Lauper herself recognized for her contribution, taking home the award for Best Original Score. This was an incredible achievement, as she was the first solo female to win this category. Lauper celebrated her 30th anniversary in 2013, and in honor of this, she went on tour and later released a country album titled Detour, featuring multiple collaborations. Although primarily admired for her music and fearless persona, Lauper has also been an important figure for the gay rights movement. As an activist, she set up the True Colors Fund to raise awareness and the struggles with equality. A combination of these attributions is what makes Cyndi Lauper a true icon. You can check out the Carlita Spotify to listen to the original tracks of the artist. It's a curated playlist with the most popular songs.